2, 1. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bench Podcast. On today's episode, we're to get into the divisional round recap, the championship week is set. And,
Lamar Jackson loses again. Damn it.
What's up, and welcome to the Bench Podcast. My name is Joey, joined as always by my brother, co-host in a new studio, Angel. How you doing?
Good. So we're still like getting,
Feels weird in here.
we're getting settled in a little bit. So if something happens today during the show, just give us some time.
At producer's desk, but not on camera. Double better action. 6'5" and a good day. AJ Woodson, and then registered Packer owner Gabe Tovar. Gabe, do you have a mic?
What up?
We got one of the complications that I was speaking of. But in the guest chair, joining us on a Sunday, of course, the greatest on-ball defender I've ever seen, Terrell Thorogood.
What up, people? What's up?
Recovering from the Broncos, but you're fully into off-season stuff.
Yeah.
I'm way into it. I'm excited. Let's do it, baby.
If you're watching here on YouTube, welcome to the channel.
Hi.
Go ahead and like, subscribe. Thank you for all the new followers we have. Over the week, we reached 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So thanks to all you who have followed the channel recently for various reasons.
Yeah.
For various reasons. But nonetheless, thank you for following. And, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, thanks for joining us for the audio version of the podcast.
Our neighbors yelling.
So distant. Thanks for following us there. Subscribe to those notifications. All right, guys, divisional week is in the books. I did enjoy it, although that Eagle game, damn it. That was not enjoyable, but
that was close. It was a good game.
It's the greatest week of football. It really is.
Even the Texans Chiefs game, that was a 1 point game and into the fourth quarter. Then obviously looks
That feels so
lopsided
long ago.
now. Yeah, it's just
It feels forever.
A lot of dramatic games happened. Like I said during the preview, Lamar Jackson, a Mark Andrews touchdown drop, a 2-point conversion away from to going to overtime.
We're gonna recap all the games on this episode, the whole divisional round. Get into that. Wanted to make a quick announcement. We got confirmation, boys. We're gonna have a little guest.
Nothing little about our guest
On the books.
It's a big old guest.
Should I say it?
Big old fucker.
Tease it.
Should I wait?
Yeah, wait.
Oh, that's kind of.
How do you give a clue?
That's kind of cold.
It's gonna be cold in
It's
here.
kind of cold.
Oh,
Kind of cold to
chilly.
say that. People are gonna be like, Stone Cold! Steve Austin! Not Steve Austin.
I'd be insanely nervous if Steve Austin was in this room.
All right, let's get to this game recap. In a nice little surprise, Texans Chiefs.
Yeah.
Texans. Listen,
Listen.
they did. And this sounds condescending. I feel like they did the best they could. Like they're outgunned a lot of ways. Like I think the loss of Tank Dell,
Stephon Diggs,
just weapons in general.
I mean, you start to wonder, like, if they were fully healthy, they took this team to the brink.
But you know what I
Fourth
think
quarter.
though? After I think that, but their O-line would still suck.
Yeah.
And like, Stroud would still be running for his life.
Maybe instead of signing Stephon Diggs, they should have just traded for a lineman or something. Or
Kansas City wins the game 23-14, which that was close. That was
Yeah,
tough. But
that's
you know what? This is
14.
just the Chiefs. This is how they do it. Like
Yeah.
nothing new for the Chiefs.
I mean, they didn't play well. They were 4-11 on third down. They weren't
It's
even
kind of
like
coasted. I mean, they had a month off, so they're a little rusty.
a little rusty.
Mahomes is in full game manager mode too. Like
Yeah.
16 for 25, 177.
We got to talk about the refs, but once you get done with your
Terrell, the refs, Terrell. Did they piss you off?
The Chiefs are literally the most annoying team to watch in
Yeah.
football. Like
Not wrong.
they're not even fun. There was 4 games this weekend. All were fun games except for the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And it's just every single play. You're just seriously, right? Like make it a little bit.
Try to hide it a little
Try to
bit.
hide it a little bit.
They just-
It's just so many just stupid penalties.
Who was the player who said after, like, we knew we were going to have to face the refs?
Joe Mixon said that. Everybody says that.
that fine coming.
D'Amico Ryan said the same
Yeah,
thing.
really?
head coach
Yeah, he
said
it was us versus everyone.
and we mean everybody.
Yeah. I do want to talk about one thing, and we'll obviously talk about the nitty-gritty of the game, but God, Patrick Mahomes, if I ever see you flop on a football field again,
He's a lot of
are
flopping.
you serious? I do not want to see my star quarterback, the face of the league, flopping.
Brady never flopped. I'll tell you that. Brady never flopped.
I mean, did that as distasteful as I
that
thought.
that was it for me. Like I was just like, all right, I officially like I kind of rooted. I wanted to root for them because I love when history happens. I kind of wanted them to be the first in the three-peat. But then you see them play, you're just like, I don't even like you, and the fans are just.
Here we go.
They're
let it out.
They're so annoying. Chief fans. Here
we go.
They don't even. Most of them don't even like football. They're just.
And they showed Taylor Swift maybe I don't know how many times.
Yeah, I haven't crossed the threshold yet where I hate them, but a couple of things are starting to really annoy me.
Taylor Swift.
And that flopping thing really, after they did the bogus call where the defenders hit each other and Mahomes got the call and then the flop and
he was running, he was scrambling and he rushed past line of scrimmage, so he's a runner. And then they tackle him and then they call a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the more egregious though is they didn't even hit him.
Yeah, they hit each other.
Like they didn't even get touched on the play.
They missed the guy. You barely nick his head, and he ducked.
Yep.
Like it was too soon of a play for. They can't even react to that. Nobody can react to that.
I tell you what, Troy Aikman said, "Not on my goddamn watch."
Yeah,
Aikman not on my watch.
He was telling the truth.
He called him out so hard. Hey, Aikman's on one lately.
Yeah,
he doesn't care anymore.
He's calling out everybody, calling out the Cowboys.
Yeah,
calling out Patrick Mahomes.
He was great. He was speaking for like America.
Yeah,
like, he was saying like, "Oh, come on, that's not enough." And it was true.
I feel like their fan base is dwindling now. It's dwindling down just to Kansas City people.
Yeah, because this is what happens when like the Warriors became big. Like there was the Warriors fans, and it was fun, and then it got to be like kind of annoying. Same thing with the Patriots. At one point, we all didn't like Brady, and then kind of made a full turn there.
Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I think the Chiefs have a lot more in the tank. I think we saw a rusty team. We saw weapons everywhere with Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins. Worthy looks great. Like he's really grown into a role here.
Stat wise though. It's just Kelsey.
Well, because it's so spread out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hollywood Brown didn't have a catch. Hopkins didn't even have a catch. It's weird.
That's what I'm saying. There's so much left on the bone here.
Yeah. They
can get much, much better. It's just, are they going to be able to get sharp?
Yeah, you could easily have like a Hollywood Brown game where he has like 4 catches for 110 yards.
Pacheco hasn't really seemed the same since he's come back from the end.
They really like.
It's almost like he's not healthy, and he should have probably stayed in
5 carries, 18 yards.
Weeks after a broken leg.
Yeah.
It's almost like his leg isn't actually detached yet.
Did you think it was shady when the spread was 9.5 and they were down by 7 and they ran out of bounds to make it 9?
I'll tell you what. So this week I jumped on Better Picks, new sponsor by the way. Use code BENCHED. They'll match up to $250 of your first deposit.
What a deal!
Use our code or link. Maybe not while I'm giving a promo, but the link is in the biography below. But I did a bunch of like picks and all that. I did a parlay, right? Mm-hmm. It's amazing how many just stop right before. Mm-hmm. Like that's.
Oh, I know.
Like what you're talking about with the. Wow, I could reach out and touch you.
Yeah.
With the like 9.5.
9 spread, and got to 9. Yep.
Is this something? Do you partake?
I haven't partaken yet, but
partook.
Partook it.
My bad.
Partook it
in the better out here in California. But
way to support the show, Terrell. I'm just kidding.
You didn't either. So shut up.
Come on, it's brand new. I got to give it a minute. I got to let it test the waters. Let it simmer a little bit.
Put your toe in the water a little bit.
So I did underdog for a little bit, and it is crazy how like it is. So I was 3 yards away from Tyreek Hill from about $1,000. 3 yards.
It's either like they're just really good at setting these lines, which is probably the truth, or it's they're out to get.
They got better men than us setting these lines.
But Chiefs are going to move on.
Let's talk Texans.
Nothing
first
new
before we move.
Texans. They're not going to move on. They get as far as they got last year.
Yeah.
With, I mean, not trying to get an argument here, but a worse season and basically the same thing. I think it's a better postseason showing though.
Yeah.
That winning the Chargers was way more impressive than the Browns.
And then, like I said, they were down by 1 point at the end, going into the fourth quarter, and it turned out to be 23 to 14 or 13. But yeah, I thought they played well. They need more weapons and a better O line. I think Stroud was limping off on the field to take the knee to end the game. Like he's just got beat up all year. I think he's the most sacked quarterback in football.
I wouldn't even mind if they don't get another big time weapon. Just everything in the O line. Every single thing you have.
Because this is how you ruin quarterbacks. You just keep getting,
It's just, he's I think, developing some bad habits because he has to. He has to do everything himself. He has to scramble every play.
Yep.
Bobby Slowick, I know you have some strong.
I'm out.
Okay.
Listen,
Is that because you don't want to blame Stroud?
No, here's why. his offense hasn't progressed from year one. It's been the same offense as last year. It's deep. It's a deep crosser, Nico Collins, one screen to Mixon, a run up the center's ass, and that's it.
Terrell, more blame pie.
No, I'm not saying
Stroud and Slowick.
I'm not saying that's Stroud's fault.
Stroud definitely takes more of the blame pie for the Texans. I mean, their problem this year was their offense. It was definitely their offense. Most of their losses, they could barely score over 23 points in the season. So it was definitely the Texans' offense, and they're really the same team from a year ago. I mean, they lost Diggs early. They lost Tank Dell. Yep. So it's the same team. You
same
added
team plus Mixon.
Joe plus Mixon. So
I haven't thought about that.
And I think them being close against the Chiefs, like we said earlier, every game is close against the Chiefs. So you can't really look at some of the teams like, oh, they played the Chiefs tight. The Chiefs don't really blow out anybody. So every game's really close. God. Even though they were down one,
I hate all of you.
You just kind of knew they weren't going to win the game. Like they were in it, but they weren't at the same time.
No, they were in that game. That was a good game.
The score was close, but I don't think they were going to win.
But at the end of the day,
they just couldn't do anything offensive.
Their offense is terrible.
And then we forget that playoff Travis Kelce is a different person. He's just
but let's say the offense is.
Oh, so okay.
I mean, it's just I like when the game started. I texted in the group chat like, how is this team so like 10-7? Like their defense is so good.
Defense is
they're all over the place. What's his name? Will Anderson. No one talks about him.
He had 2 sacks.
He's a stud. I mean, the Chiefs O-line is not great, but it's above average.
Yeah.
And they were wrecking it. I don't know. I think it's an interesting conversation going the offseason with Stroud and Slowick.
I think
you got to imagine they're both back.
I think Slowick leaves.
You think so?
There's a lot of right? Well, you know what?
After that performance?
I don't think his stock got help at all.
There's so many options right now.
Obviously it's a yes, but like would you, if you're a Texas fan, would you want Slowick back? Like would you
Yeah.
You got to change it up a little bit. Something's got to be fresh.
I think you try the O-line thing, and if that doesn't work, then, you start pulling the – Stroud's obviously going to get blamed absolutely last year.
Maybe Slowick should have taken a job last year.
Yeah. Last thing I want to shout out real quick about this game, the best in-game coordinator on either side of the ball has to be Steve Spagnuolo.
Spags was in the bag today.
He is amazing. Like, he's just – like, it's fun to just watch him work. Watch him pull strings. Watch him just mess with quarterbacks.
Yeah, he blitzes the perfect time.
It's like he knows exactly when just to overwhelm a quarterback.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to overwhelm that Texas offense.
You think he becomes head coach? He's getting interviews.
I hope he doesn't. I love him and Andy Reid could just go on for the next 5 years, do the same thing.
If Spags moves on, Terrell, where you want to go?
I definitely want him gone. We definitely want to make the Chiefs weaker. I want him gone. I think I think he needs to go to a team where he can kind of be under the radar and get a chance to build a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think it's New Orleans is the spot for him.
New Orleans gonna have.
I feel bad for whoever ends up in New Orleans.
You have to eat it like a dead year of like cap. Like you have to lose everybody to eat dead, and then you're gonna be into it.
They got to figure out what to do. Derek Carr,
and then you sign Kamara, so you have his contract still. Demario Davis still on that team. Cam Jordan, I think he's on that team, right? Yeah. And Tyrann Mathieu, I think, is still on that team.
I think the other interesting spot for him too is Jacksonville. Because I could see a guy like him saying, I don't want to go to a team where I got to develop a young quarterback.
Just have one already.
Have a quarterback, and the Jags have some weapons on defense, so I think that might be a good spot for him too.
Well, we'll see what happens with Texans in the offseason. Chiefs move on, and we'll talk about who they're going to play moving forward. The Saturday night game, the game of the playoffs so far. Like the blindside game of the play, except for Terrell. He called this in the draft.
Let's get
Commanders 45.
Let's get into this shit.
The Lions 31. 45 points.
They scored 28 in the second quarter.
Yeah. So at halftime, in the second quarter?
They scored 28 in the second quarter.
So the halftime score was 31?
They had 31.
31-21, right?
They hung 31 on the Lions in the first half. Yeah.
Score 45. They made the Lions turn the ball over 4 times. Jane Daniels looked phenomenal. Joseph, let's just get into it, okay? A lot of you on our feed this week.
A lot of conversations. Honestly, a lot of good conversations too. Like there's some good Commander fans who now follow the page.
What's up,
Welcome
guys?
to the page. But yeah, obviously got into a lot of conflict with the whole District of Columbia. They do not like me.
We're not welcome.
And I don't think there's very many Mexicans over there, so not sure I did our people very many favors.
That's
but
all right.
I don't know. Thinking about this game, like, okay, obviously there was the reel where I thought they might be fraudulent because they didn't beat a playoff game in the regular season except for the injured Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to backtrack from that because that's still just as true. Like a lot of the comments were like, well, they beat one now. I'm like, okay, well, I made that 2 weeks ago. Like, if I would have made it now, I would have said something different. But like in thinking about just the whole thing, like two things I'm not gonna pretend two things. I'm not gonna pretend that I've hated the Commanders. Like, I'm not just gonna become like a Commanders heel because I not pick them for a game. I voted for Jaden Daniels as the Rookie of the Year. I pulled up receipts in the group chat that the first week I'm the one who thought the Bucs could win. Like, I'll play that right now.
I have Buccaneers like 34 to 30.
But would it surprise you if you flip that? No, right? Like,
No,
I see them.
It would surprise me. I think the Bucs gonna win. I think what happens is the Bucs
have struggled lately.
The Bucs kind of show. Yeah, they struggled last week even.
Yeah.
But I think the Bucs just have. I'm leaning towards them because they've been there. Most of that team was there when Tom Brady was there. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I kind of trust that team a little bit more. Yes, and Jaden Daniels and the whole team. That's all. I mean, besides Bobby Wagner, they've they're all kind of new. And Jaden Daniels, you don't know how you are in the playoffs. It's different.
And like, so I'm not the one who's been like the Commanders hater. So I'm not going to come on the show and pretend like, yeah, I'm not this anti-Commanders guy. To be honest, as an Eagle fan, in the nicest way possible, the Commanders haven't really been relevant for a while. Like, I have no reason to hate them. There's been no like big moments between the Eagles and their fans and the Commanders' fans. So I'm not going to hate them. Number two, I'm not going to pretend like it was a hot take to take the Lions over the Commanders. Like, I'm not going to pretend like, oh, that was some island I was on because I hated the Commanders, so I took the Lions. The whole fucking world took the Lions.
I think the people were upset because how little chance to no chance you gave them. Like when
you understand that's what was supposed to happen though.
No, but when like the matchups were finally finals last week, you're like, well, they're going to get put in their place and all this stuff. That's what people are mad at. Like, you give them no shot.
Okay, yeah, I picked the Lions to dominate. I picked the number one seed in the NFC. The Lions, who have the best regular season record in Lions history. I picked them to blow out the Commanders. I feel like I'm not alone there. I feel like it would have been a hot take to take the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The Commanders squeaked one out against the Bucs. Like, it wasn't like they went out and dominated Tampa. So them to go on the road with a rookie in Detroit, hostile environment, they're rolling right now. That was a huge upset win. But I feel like with me and the Commanders, I'm like, the old grandma just sitting on the porch. Like, go ahead, baby.
I wasn't sure where you're going with that.
That's how I feel about them. I'm like, if they lose, come on back home.
So you can't see anymore that they can't be a playoff team. Like, now they beat the Lions at home. Like, now
that's what I'm saying. Those are the comments I'm getting. Of course. Like, they're in the NFC Championship game. So I don't know who would say that. I don't know if that is that a conversation anywhere? Like, they can't be a playoff team. Like, I don't know why. Like, who would say that?
Well, obviously now, but before, that's why everyone was, like, upset, because you're like, they have zero chance. It's not going to happen ever. Jaden Daniels has beaten the playoff team, which is what
okay, see, you're doing it again. I played the clip where I did not say that. I said I could see this game being flipped after you picked the Bucs. I said, can you see it going the other way? And you said, no, it can't. Now I don't see that happening. So I don't want to hear that anymore, that I didn't give them a chance to win, because you may not know, but I played the clip, and I sent you the clip, and I'm not the one who said the Commanders can't win. That's just not true. Sorry, the receipts are what they are.
I'm just saying you're pretty negative with the Commanders, and they scored 45.
Right. I see you're trying to talk a way around this, but the receipts are what they are. I didn't say that. You said that. You gave them no chance.
Look,
that wasn't me.
Hasn't been negative on the Commanders is me. I've been on the Commanders since the offseason. I've loved this team. I said they were going to make it as a wild card, 10-7. They went 12-5, which is unbelievable. I said Jaden Daniels should have been the number one pick. The guy was a Heisman. He balled out. The Commanders are awesome, but this game was way more about the Lions' shortcomings than how great the Commanders.
They scored 45 points. How's that about the Commanders' How about the Lions' shortcomings?
So a lot of it is JD being amazing. Like, a lot of it is. Yeah. Some of it is the Lions are decimated.
The Lions were Swiss cheese on defense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I am sick of this conversation of Aaron Glenn. He's going to get a job. You're going to lose. Yeah. How do you give this guy a job? There have been at least three or four games where they've just given up 40 points and letting teams. Buffalo ran wild against them. The Rams went wild against them. I mean, all these teams have just dropped points after points against the Lions. Like, it's not like they're this lockdown defense. And to have a rookie come into your stadium you've got Barry Sanders in the building, Calvin Johnson, you've got Jello performing.
The Jello performance?
Jello performance during the game halftime. And you're just going to let him score 45 points. I mean, granted, you got the pick six that you got to throw in there. but they could not stop them at all.
Yeah,
that defense looked terrible. A lot of misassignments, a lot of bad reads. Even Brady calling it out on the telecast, like at the very end of the game, like their corners aren't staying home. The safeties don't know how to switch on the crossers. It's just that defense was awful.
Yeah, the defense had shortcomings, but I think the biggest thing is that Jane Daniels won this game, not the Lions lost this game. Like Jane Daniels went out there, it was him with a cape on, just I'm going to make this work. He lost his best lineman, ACL, gone. He only has Scary Terry and a bunch of patchwork guys. He made it work against the number 1 seed, the Detroit Lions at home.
I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. I think it's both things. Like you can't have one without the other. And that doesn't take anything from Jaden Daniels. It takes a good quarterback to make the other team pay for every single mistake you have.
He was on his A game, and it was Gabe asked. Yes, we were talking about Denver going against Buffalo. Like, oh, can the Bills beat the Broncos on their best game? Well, Jaden Daniels had his best game, and then the Lions played an ass game, and that was a combination of the two. So I think Jared Goff throwing the ball away 3 times.
Talk about Jared Goff, man.
Just 2 terrible interceptions in the first half of the game.
Yeah,
I mean that's really what it was. The pick 6 and then the interception to end the quarter. I mean that was really the game. Even with Jaden Daniels playing as well as he did, I think it comes down to the last second. But there's no reason they should have.
Let's talk about Jared Goff for a second. I'm no doctor. But is there any way he didn't actually get a concussion when Frankie Louisville hit him? Almost just decapitated him.
That was on the pick, right?
Like, is there any chance he wasn't concussed?
No.
That was brutal.
If you're at
no
home,
flag, by the way.
If you're at home, if you're the quarterback at home, you tend to just get away with being concussed. Like Josh Allen gets concussed like every week. You just get away with it. No, he got fucking lit up. But
and to be fair, he was playing terrible before that.
Yeah. I think Dan Quinn was. This is honestly good for Dan Quinn. All you know him for is the Falcons debacle, right?
Yeah.
And now he's kind of battling some demons here. He's like, I'm going to go into Detroit, 14-win team, and beat them with a rookie quarterback. Dan Quinn needs a little more respect. Jane Daniels needs a little more respect. I can't wait for next year to see where we rank this head coach quarterback combo or even the quarterback. Amongst NFC quarterbacks, I want to see, once everything settles down, where we rank Jane Daniels and how it was above Goff, Hurts, where does he land here? Dak Prescott's out there, Baker Mayfield. I want to see where he lands here. Because he was phenomenal. He's a superstar. He's incredible.
To go back to Goff, that concussion definitely messed him up. Like he definitely went from Ryan Gosling to Macaulay Culkin. Just the look on his face.
Well,
Macaulay Culkin's not today one.
Culkin.
He just. There's no disrespect to Macaulay.
What the fuck did he do to you?
They did drop 35 points. So I don't want to the offense was not the problem. It was the defense that was you said Swiss cheese.
Yeah, the defense was terrible, but
Gibbs looked fantastic.
Oh yeah, he was amazing. You just can't have stupid turnovers. That's what it was with Goff. Yeah. He's making McVay look good. They're making him look right on the decision to get rid of him. Like, hey, you're not the guy who's going to get us over the hump.
Right.
I think he might be that guy. I think he might be like a Phillip Rivers type of legacy.
There's no chance Dan Quinn moves on, right? They love Jared Goff there. They like
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell. There's no chance they move on from Jared Goff, right?
No.
Maybe, but maybe
they seem to just love him.
Yeah, but maybe this is his ceiling. It's a goodish playoff quarterback, and then you have bad games like this. Well, I remember in the Niners game, he performed okay, but there was always something else. And then this year to lose to the Commanders, that's honestly embarrassing for this Lions team. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
45 at home against a rookie quarterback. That's embarrassing for you.
Maybe that's just saving grace that no quarterbacks win in that game. They scored 45 points. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's his saving grace. Like, well, I put up 35 points.
I think the crazy thing is we're saying this about the Lions, who are perennial ass. And now
they fooled us.
They're finally, the last 2 years, oh, this team is legit. They made the playoffs last year. Was the first time they were in the playoffs in over 10 years. And so for them now, we're like, oh, man, the Lions.
Yep.
We're going to trash them. It's like, hold on, give them a minute. They're figuring out how to be a good franchise.
Right.
So give them a chance. Let them figure it out. I don't think you blow it up. Jared Goff was a throwaway. Nobody expected Jared Goff to come in and be this dude in Detroit. So I think you give them a chance. They got their young stud in Jahmyr Gibbs. You got Amon-Ra. They're gonna be around. I don't think you blow anything up. You keep what you got in Detroit.
Tell you what, they're pretty scared that this is year one of the Commanders, and they were able to handle them like that. The NFC should be. This is a real legit team. There's not even the full complete.
Yeah, it's not even like their final form.
Yeah, this is like the year
they haven't had
one.
an off season yet.
The Commanders talking about?
Yeah, yeah. Commanders. What a future! Another year where this number 2 quarterback looks good, but this is way more than I saw from Stroud, or this is even way more than Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Cam Newton had a fantastic season.
RG3,
It's like honestly the greatest rookie season I've ever seen for a quarterback. He's incredible.
Yeah, Colin Cowherd came out and said he's the best rookie he's ever seen, and like I don't know if any of us have like dove deep enough into like rookie seasons of quarterbacks, but I mean, of what I could top of my head, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I'd say I think the consensus best rookie quarterback season before would be
Cam and
Andrew Luck.
Cam was really good.
Cam was like
Andrew Luck was really good.
Yeah.
RG3.
Yeah, but
There's been some good ones, but
I'll take him over all.
playoff wins and
Yeah,
like the
that's-
poise that we're seeing, and the fact that he took down the Lions
With
is just
that
like,
roster.
Yeah, their best lineman went down. Scary Terry's 30.
That's the thing. Like I still have questions about this roster, but it just might not matter. Like one of the Commanders fans said in the chat, and I actually thought it was like, well, that's a really good point. If you're ever gonna don't ever call someone a fraud with an elite quarterback, because you always have a chance.
Yep.
And like we're there with Joe Burrow, and I think that's just where we're already at least so far with the Commanders. Like as long as they have Jaden Daniels, they could beat anyone.
Yeah, and also during the sorry, go ahead.
So good.
No, just during the game, I was like, yeah, Bo Nix is not rookie of the year.
No, he's not.
This is Jane Daniels.
Yeah, because you have guys like who are playing way over their heads, like De'Ami Brown. We haven't seen Olamide Zaccheaus, like Austin Eckler turned back the clock yesterday.
He looked good.
Zach
They're
Ertz.
just Zach Ertz.
He was concussed.
It's really painful.
Did you see him after he was
Well, that's his
concussed?
second straight concussion, like 2 weeks in a row.
Retire, old man.
He'll probably play next week.
I mean, I think one of the big things that I came away from this game was Cliff Kingsbury needs to get a lot of love.
Yep.
I mean,
Cool guy Cliff. I'm sorry, cool guy Cliff. He dialed up some good shit.
he's looking good. I mean, to do what he did, to do what he's doing with the rookie right now, and look, we're looking at Dan Quinn. I think my coach of the year pick for him is not looking that crazy after all. So
Dan Quinn is
he's
taking a lot of victory laps. Right?
taking a lot of victory laps. Look, I said Dan Quinn, and I took a little shade there in the Instagram post. Terrell's pick, don't know why. But Dan Quinn deserves coach of the year for what he did with this team. I mean, that's unbelievable. But I think the real magic man is Cliff Kingsbury here. I think again, we're bringing it up to the Jags. I think he's the quarterback whisperer. I think he does some magic with Trevor Lawrence, but Cliff's the guy you don't want to get rid of. That's the guy that throw the bag at Cliff Kingsbury if you are the Commanders.
and just a little
throw the
bit
bag
of
at him,
this
keep him.
performance is like him being like, I'm a head coach again. He's fighting for.
I think he's gone. I think he's gonna take a
after
job.
this. Yeah,
He's
gonna
so
get
young
offers.
still.
Yeah,
He has years to be an offense coordinator.
him, Caleb Williams have already played together. It's just gonna happen.
He gained some jobs that Aaron Glenn lost.
And Mike McCarthy just sunk lower down the.
And he just shot up the chain, to be honest. But yeah, Commanders going to move on. They're healthy. They believe in themselves. They believe in the coach, and they got a all-star quarterback.
Yep.
Like who the hell knows what they can do? We'll talk about that in a second. Because on Sunday, I guess not morning, but at noon, the Eagles hosted the Los Angeles Rams.
Good game.
A good game. A game that for some reason. All week listening to like the Eagles podcast and the fan stuff and all that, fans were very confident, probably because of what happened last time in LA. But no part of me wanted Matthew Stafford with the game on the line, ball in his hands with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Like I was nervous the entire game. I didn't enjoy one single second of this game because the Eagles they missed a lot of opportunities. The first play of the game, Darius Slay drops a pick. I can count at least 2 more picks after that. A.J. Brown drops a touchdown. Like a ton of points left on the board. They unfortunately still look freaking rusty. Yeah. And you're heading into the NFC Championship game where that's not going to work against the Commanders because they look like they're hitting on all cylinders right now. And so, but this game anyway, obviously the weather, it was awesome football weather.
Yeah. It also affected the Rams incredibly. Once the snow started to come, it wasn't as fast-paced offense, slowed down a little bit. Yeah. Football, 2 games this week. So football in the snow just look cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's the importance of home field advantage. And even now with the 2 top seeds going down, Eagles, they got to basically have a bye week and rest their starters that last week and still get home field advantage and host the NFC Championship game. So it's huge, and I'm glad they got to win. But, I mean, AJ, how confident are you after 2 straight weeks of
Just like you said, we still look rusty. I was just taking a look at it now. We scored 0 points in the second quarter last week. We scored 0 points in the second quarter this week. We can't put together 4 quarters of good football right now. This Commanders team is scary, and it
hurts. That knee was bad.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate too because he's been running about as well as I ever seen him run.
Yeah. Last
like
week
that
show,
44-yard run today. Like he still looks slow to me. He looks like he's a big crap in his pants, but he scored. And like just with him running and Saquon, it's just such a force. But yeah, that knee's not okay, and I'm a little worried going forward because the Eagles got beat up. Quinyon Mitchell missed most of the game. They say right after the game he's going to be fine, but Darius Slay was out for a second. Isaiah Rodgers got picked on a little bit, and Jaden Daniels just picked apart an injured secondary. Yeah, like we know he can do that, and so don't love that about it. But I mean, what'd you see from the Rams today?
From the Rams in this game, like it just came down to the weather. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, they were flying down the field, and then they finally figured it out in the last 5 minutes of play a little bit faster, bring the pace back. But it was kind of a too little, too late on that to where they could have had a little bit of rhythm in that game. Look, this game was close. It came that Eagles defensive front, which I think is going to be the biggest. That's the X factor in the game next week, and we'll preview that later. But they gave that Rams offensive line hell, and they were right in Stafford's face. I mean, they disrupted a lot of drives. There were a lot of good drives where the Rams had momentum, and then boom, you hit them. You take Stafford down, like the fumble, the fumble in the third quarter. So I think it was the D line.
Kyren with another fumble.
Yeah,
that's really becoming a thing for him.
The turnovers in the snow. The teams that weren't really anticipating playing the snow. That's what it came down to in the games on Sunday was the weather.
How good did Jared Verse look, and how stupid these teams look for passing on Jared Verse? Where did he go? 19 or 17? What was it? He fell way. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, Rams were a playoff team last year.
Yeah, you're right.
He is
20, I think.
Jared Verse is legitimately a very good player.
Yeah, he was giving it to. I don't see anyone do that to Jordan Mailata, and I think it's a good matchup, but. With 3 sacks today, something like that. Like he ate today, 2 sacks today. Yeah, he looked really, really good. Eagles refused to double anyone, which I kind of respect, but I feel like Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk too, he left his game as well. I think that was a real blow for the Commanders. You don't see anyone get the best of this Eagles offensive line. Yeah. Like you never see that. So that's really something. Going forward, this Rams defensive line is young. I wish Aaron Donald would have stayed around one more year.
Yeah.
Like, he'd still
made
play.
a big deal. Oh, yeah.
But anyways, Eagles are going to move on. Let's talk about, I guess we'll talk about the Rams going forward here. Stafford back next year.
Yeah, I think you run it back. Puka Nacua, another fantastic playoff showing, 9 catches. In 2 playoff games.
What was his final stat line?
9 catches, or 6 catches for 97 yards.
How many of those yards was on that last catch, though?
I think that was.
I feel like he was bottled up pretty good,
40,
actually.
that was like 44, 38 yards on that last.
It didn't feel like he affected the game like Puka Nacua usually does.
That's a pretty good stat line.
That's a great stat line, but I'm saying half of that came on 1 catch at the end of the game.
It's backloaded, is what he's saying. Because he was kind of like I was expecting to be a little more annoyed at Puka Nacua all game,
right?
And then he didn't kind of show up.
Stafford had him open on that. The 4th and 10 on the goal line.
He had some drops
the game
too, and then Darius Slay played his ass off today. He looked really, really good as well. But, we dodged the Puka thing. Kyren, I think he ran well. I don't have to look at his stat line. I know he was over 100 yards.
19 for 106.
Yeah, we did not slow him down at all. I think we kind of just gave that to the Rams, to be honest, and just didn't want Stafford to beat us deep. Cooper Kupp, what did he end up with?
5 for 61.
Yeah.
He's looking older.
It just didn't seem like those 2 guys affected the game the way I usually expect them to. Right? I mean...
Yeah, no, and I think the weather played a huge factor.
The weather was the factor.
Like them just not being able to cut. Like all you can really do in that is run runaway routes. Yeah, and that's what they were doing down the stretch. It's either deep balls or throw some,
Because that first quarter when there was no snow, it was like this might be a shootout because the offenses were just rolling. Yeah. Then they got hurt. Jalen Hurts got hurt, and the snow came, and both offenses just kind of stopped.
Yeah. Just slowed everything down.
It really did, and it sucked because you wonder, like, man, if there was no snow, this would have been 45-48, and there's been an exciting football.
Yeah. I think but that's part of it, though. That's part of the Eagles winning home field advantage and how big of a deal that was. The Eagles practice in the snow. They play all. I think I saw the Rams hadn't played in the snow since like last year at some point. I think the Packers. I forgot even when, but the Rams haven't even been in the snow. Like. just as people away from life. Like they had no idea how to deal with that. And the Eagles did. Even you talk about the receivers, you could tell the Eagles route trees were a lot more complete. You saw Devonta Smith all over the field. You saw A.J. Brown back with those Saints. And Dallas freaking Goddard. Like, he has pulled us out at a couple times now in the playoffs. He looks completely comfortable in the snow, of course. We went to school in the Dakotas.
A.J. Brown's...
He's hurt for sure.
He's hurt. Because I think
2 catches today, 3?
2 catches for 14.
Last week, just 1.
Yeah, he's hurt. He
dropped a touchdown today. That sucked.
But Dallas Goedert was probably your best wideout today.
He's really. I mean, as long as he stay healthy, man, he's the most like secure safety blanket for.
And then if Witherspoon didn't just arrow himself into Devonta Smith's head, he would have had a better stat line.
Yeah, that was
Devonta Smith. That's pretty dirty.
Yeah, but yeah, Eagles are gonna move forward here. They're gonna play the Commanders in Philly.
We'll see.
The rubber match. The Eagles took the first one. Commanders took the second one. They knocked Jalen Hurts out of that second game as well. So that D line. Jonathan Allen's now back for them in that D line. So I think it's going to be a good game. It's a divisional game in the NFC Championship game. Yeah. Like I'm going to pick the Eagles. I think Eagles just straight up better. But the Commanders can win this game. They can definitely win this game. Liar! Gabe does not think they could win this game. But yeah, we'll get into the Commanders and Eagles. But that's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope that's the nightcap, but it probably won't because the Chiefs are going.
No, it's the first game.
Is it really? Yeah, they already announced it. The Chiefs are going to play the Buffalo Bills because Lamar Jackson lost in the playoffs again.
I don't want to say
I don't
that.
want to do that. I'm not doing that. Mark Andrews lost.
Listen, man, he did. That's all anyone will remember. I'm not saying it's fair, but when you're a quarterback, that's the game.
That sucks. Yeah. Mark Andrews. Even though you don't want Josh Allen in overtime, but you still don't want Lamar Jackson in overtime either. And
so was that the game-winning catch?
It was 25-27, and that would have made him tie it up to go to overtime.
Josh Allen would have got the ball back with what, like a minute 20?
Minute 33. Yeah. So it was still plenty of time where they could have got a game-winning field goal.
But still, Lamar Jackson made the plays he needed to make to tie the game. But still, I mean, I'm not going to make any excuse for Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to pile on the guy, but you lost again, bro. No other quarterback gets the benefit of excuses, and you're the MVP. Like, you got to wear it like everyone else.
I think for the first time in a long time, the quarterback gets zero blame for the game. This is 100% the Mark Andrews game in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. They will remember this as the Mark Andrews game.
For that one play?
For two?
He had a fumble.
He did have the fumble, yeah.
Telling you, I don't know, man. Lamar Jackson played well. He had a fumble. He had 2 turnovers, right? And or 3 maybe, but it's hard to blame him when he made the play to take it to overtime to give him the shot. And this is a good Buffalo Bills team.
Yeah, I mean you're in that position in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. This not a pile on Lamar segment, but when we think about Lamar Jackson, I guess you may remember Mark Andrews, but for the most part, it's another playoff loss for Lamar Jackson. That's how he's going to see it. He once again isn't getting to the Super Bowl. That is still going to weigh on him. And how many years is he in the league now? Like, how old is Lamar Jackson?
They both came in 2018. They were in the 2018
seventh year.
Seventh year in the league. Has he been to Super Bowl?
No.
Hasn't been to Super Bowl. How many MVPs?
This will be his 3rd.
He's kind of mirroring Peyton Manning's thing.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's all backloaded here.
Yeah, but it's tough. I mean, it's like, the NBA comparison. You run into Jordan every year. So you got Mahomes in the way every single year. That's always the tough one.
Yeah. To be fair, we might be having the same conversation about Josh Allen next week. Yeah. Like, Josh Allen didn't make it again. Guess who's back?
Mahomes back again. So I think he's the big roadblock is Mahomes. So it's kind of hard. This was a tough one. I was definitely bummed out on this game. Like, Lamar played a really good game. He made a lot of good plays down the stretch on that last drive. I mean, getting out of the pocket, throwing the ball down the field, which he looked good doing. Come on, Mark Andrews. Catch the ball.
You catch that.
You got to hold on the ball. Stop fumbling the ball.
I mean, you could say Lamar could have hit him in the chest, but
hit him hands, in the dick. Man.
I mean,
hit him in his hands.
Still dropped it. So
what are you gonna do?
How much did you say? Hit him in the dick.
Yeah.
What more do you want to hit you in both of your fucking hands?
Got that.
I wanted an overtime Lamar Jackson Josh Allen game.
Look, I think the Bills are still moving the ball down the field with ease in that fourth quarter. So I think it could have come down to a field goal, but But who knows? I mean, what was going to happen?
So the part, and we'll move to the Bills now. The part I don't like about not giving, not saying that about Lamar Jackson, and like it's in a blunt way. And yeah, it's kind of a blanket statement, and that's not fair and not nuanced. But I feel like when you do that, you take it away from Josh Allen. Like, no, Josh Allen won this game. Like, Josh Allen made Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, put him in a position where they could not make mistakes because Josh Allen was not making mistakes on the other side. And so I want to give, like, full props to Josh Allen here. Like, they hosted the game, but the Baltimore Ravens with Derrick Henry and the MVP came in, and they handled their business. Go Bills.
I mean, the Bills had a really good first half.
Yeah.
And they only put up 6 points in the second half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is definitely would have been a game. I think you take away the Mark Andrews fumble, and they score on that drive, and shout out to DeMar Hamlin, the shoestring tackle on Derrick Henry, because he was gone in the fourth quarter on that 30-yard run. He could have had a touchdown on that play. It was the same drive as the Mark Andrews fumble. If DeMar Hamlin doesn't make a play, we're talking about the Bills. You only scored 6 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, or in the second half of the game. So it was a tale of Baltimore couldn't put up points in the first half. Buffalo did. Then Baltimore went on a blaze in the second half. So it was a battle. It was a toe-to-toe battle in the snow. The weather played a factor. Who could run the ball well? I think both quarterbacks went toe-to-toe, jab for jab.
This was the most. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, it sucks that one of the others, as Shaq has to say, let you down.
Yeah, this was the most
smart game.
This is the most like game managery game I've ever seen from Josh Allen. He didn't throw for a touchdown. He rushed for 2.
That's what he is this year. Like people better get used to that.
It was okay. Shakir had 6 catches. James Cook had 3. They don't even use Amari Cooper. I don't know why he's on the team. He just runs routes for no reason.
Yeah, well they use him just because.
And like yet this offense runs because they're a. You don't want to say it. This is a very dominant run offense. They can convert 4th and 1s, just about as good as the Eagles. Probably not as at such a high rate, but they're great at running the ball. And it's nice because you're like, well, if they needed to, they could do a shootout, but they didn't need to. They just needed to manage it, and they did that. And shout out to the coaching staff of the Buffalo Bills who are just saying like, let's just play playoff football, which is mistake free, game manage the ball, get 4th downs, get 3rd downs, and just keep. Lamar Jackson off the field.
If you haven't watched the Buffalo Bills all year, this is how they've won all their games.
Yeah.
Josh Allen only threw for 23 touchdowns, something like that. He did not light it up. James Cook scored 18 touchdowns wherever he did. This is how they played all year long, and it worked. And it worked against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
That defense did not start the season well, but they ended the season very, very strong. And so to see it work against them, this is, I think, the best I've ever seen the Bills looking going into this inevitable matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Which is crazy because they're like the least sexy version of themselves.
They're not, yeah.
And this is the best that they've looked. Yeah,
they take care of the ball. They're I don't want to say good defensively, but they're just like they're good enough. Like
Vaughn had a fumble recovery. Shout out to Vaughn. He's not fast anymore. He cannot outrun anybody. But shout out to Vaughn.
And I love Vaughn. He came on the Broncos podcast.
Yeah, he's very
after they beat
Savage.
Wow.
He's very much in love with the Broncos still. But yeah, shout out to Vaughn. Taylor Rapp got hurt again.
Carted off.
Sucks as he was hurt week 1, came back for this game, just to be hurt right away. And it was friendly fire too. He hit one of his own guys.
DeMar Hamlin.
They're gonna play the Chiefs.
Fucking DeMar Hamlin.
They're gonna play the Chiefs in Kansas City. We're gonna get another Bills Chiefs. AFC Championship game. Can you guys look up how many? You look up their record like in the AFC Championship game. Maybe they've played once or twice. Three times.
Lamar. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes have faced off 3 times
in the championship. In the AFC Championship.
No,
in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Once for the AFC Championship game, 2 times in the divisional round.
You know the record.
Patrick Mahomes is 3-0.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes 3-0. Yeah.
Well, one of those was that famous overtime.
The 4th time.
One of them was the famous overtime where he didn't win the toss, and that was the game. And then they changed the rules. Josh Allen rule. Yeah, so it's I don't know who's gonna win. That's the one game where it's like I just could be whoever has
the problem is we probably do. The problem is you probably know exactly who's gonna win.
It's the zebra game. The zebras are gonna
it's in Kansas City.
God,
I tell you what, America is rooting for the Bills.
Yeah.
Like America is.
Because for the first time ever, Patrick Mahomes was doing that shit. Normally he just takes the calls and that's whatever. But now he's like asking for it.
They're just like the other side of the coin in every single way. Like they're just the anti-Chiefs every single way. Even their celebrity couple. Like Josh Allen, Hayes Steinfeld are all super low key.
You only see Steinfeld.
We see Taylor Swift more than we see
need
like.
to see
And
her.
we should see Steinfeld more than fucking Taylor Swift. Because
She make more, doesn't need
sex
to see
appeal.
There you go.
Yeah. And even with, I'll wait.
So the Bills played the Chiefs earlier this year and handled them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Handled them. They give you any more confidence? That the Chiefs
It's
are
one of two teams.
No, it
one of two
doesn't.
teams to beat the Bills this year. The other team
I mean, beat the Chiefs.
beat the Chiefs.
You got too excited. Then. Who's the other team, Terrell?
Your boys in Denver.
There you go. I'll give you
There
that.
you go.
That's fine.
No. The
Let's
Bills.
not-
The Bills
that's
only
in
legit.
record. Don't ever take that from us.
2 straight
We kicked
years.
their ass.
Yeah.
Stream will go down. And I'm gonna tell it like Mahomes was on the field, Kelsey was on the field.
Tyreek Hill came back.
Yeah, they came back, and we still kicked their ass. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it gives you very much confidence either that they dominated the regular season. It just the Chiefs is the Chiefs. You know, it's just I don't know. I'm gonna have a hard time. Like asking me Sunday night at whatever time it is. Like I can't see myself picking against the Chiefs, and I want to so badly.
Just really quick.
Yeah.
Can you just run it back with the Ravens? I know we moved on already.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, Derrick Henry looks fine. He doesn't look.
Like head coach wise, quarterback, he's running the whole
You're not
thing.
firing Harbaugh.
No.
Not a chance. You're firing.
You have to do
Harbaugh.
something else though. No, I'm not saying fire Harbaugh. I'm saying I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know what you do.
I don't think you do anything.
Because didn't Derrick Henry have a good game today, and they still lost?
They
I don't know.
They
That-
played a good game.
this
They
is
just
what I'm
played
saying.
Played in the snow, and they had the game. They turned the ball over. I mean, that's literally what it came down to. They had the team. They had a Super Bowl team built, just like last year. They had a team that could win a Super Bowl, and last year was Zay Flowers fumbled the ball right on the goal line. Like they have the chance to win the game.
They might lose their coordinator too. He's getting head coach interviews. Blanking. Not
There's
Zach
Tolkien.
Orr,
Is
No, the offensive guy. I'm blanking on his name now.
Greg Roman?
Munkin.
Monken.
Monken, yeah, he's getting coaching interviews, which he should. Lamar Jackson had his best career. Has his best
Whatever
career.
OC goes there, you're just
lost
running
the whole
Lamar
crew from
Jackson's
last
offense.
year. They lost
Yeah.
Roman and whoever the DC was.
Like,
last
I don't
year.
know what you do with this Ravens
APs,
with this
whoever
Ravens
was
team
there.
like in the offseason. Like what you've
I don't know.
tried every single version of yourself. Last week you had the amazing defense with McDonald, right? And you had Lamar Jackson doing his thing, and you had the receivers you liked, and now you have Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, and you had all these receivers, and Derrick Henry's now there, and the defense figured out. It's like I don't know, like what else do you do for this guy? At some point, it's the quarterback.
Not this
tough.
game. Not this game. It can't.
I'm with you,
But
Terrell. I'm with
I
you, Terrell.
can't
even
do
look
it.
at last year. Like the quarterback he didn't make the mistakes that could like Zay Flowers tries to be the hero last year and fumbles the
Yeah.
ball. Mark Andrews holding it like a loaf of bread. Like
he's getting-
literally he's holding the ball like this and gets it punched out of his arm. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean,
He's getting betrayed by his
he's
skills
getting
or
betrayed
something,
by the guys. You say you give him he needs weapons, you give him weapons, and they turn the ball over.
Any chance that with Zay Flowers they win this game? Because he was out. Obviously, that's
No.
leading receiver, Pro Bowl wideout.
We've seen. I don't know. I'm just so over this Ravens. But if this happened, yeah, I'm sick of it. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Ask me in 3 weeks, I might say fire Harbaugh. Because they something.
See,
needs
I
to-
don't know why then are you so like
I think
why
it's-
pull the trigger on Harbaugh?
I think you have to keep Lamar because financial reasons. I think something's got to change in the biggest way, and that's the head coach.
I don't.
It's not like they play bad in games. Like I would be with you if they came out and they're just like, we see this every year. They suck in games.
But-
Like if they have Jared Goff played poorly, we could put the blame on him for the Lions losing. Lamar Jackson played a great game. Derrick Henry played a great game. The defense played a great game. They just didn't make enough plays to win. They turned the ball over.
Yeah, I don't
They
know.
choked.
They choked.
I don't know.
Fill in the blank for the reason they did. It happened again.
Damn, man. I thought we had it.
Yeah.
I was cheering for.
Huh?
I was,
You're-
I was a
you
little
liked
bit cheering for
I
Lamar.
wanted
at
it
the
for
end.
Derrick
I
Henry.
was rooting
man.
for
I
Lamar.
wanted it for Lamar Jackson. Like, get this monkey off your back that you can't win a playoff game. Just win
I
one.
was rooting for Lamar because I picked Philly and Baltimore.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think so. We all picked Baltimore, so we all got it wrong.
I picked Denver last week, so I'm not gonna say my picks.
Got it very wrong.
Yeah. Damn you, Josh Allen.
Anything else, guys, from divisional round? We're gonna get into the matchups and all that later this week, but one more thing: the NFC North went 0-3 in the playoffs, 41-10, I think combined.
Vikings
record.
first round knockout.
Vikings first
Lions.
round.
Everybody won.
And it was by like a combined like 44 points, I think I saw. At all three.
all this to say, we don't know shit about the regular
No.
season.
It's just, like, how do you, there's no way to predict this thing.
Quantify. Yeah.
There's no way to predict this
Because
thing.
teams look good and then look bad, and the Commanders beat the Lions. They have 45 points on them. So we're like, what the fuck how do we even gauge this?
Do you guys realize how close it was to be Commanders-Rams NFC Championship game?
Oh my God.
No one would have watched that except Washington, D.C. and some of L.A.
Part of LA.
Some of the younger folk. It's just, I feel like the NFL kind of avoided a major problem there.
Look, I'm happy for the DMV area, the Commanders. Shout out to them. They made it this far.
Yeah, man.
Good for them. That DC's gonna be on fire this week. You got Trump going in.
Oh yeah.
I don't have my flag on me anymore.
We originally had
DC's
Terrell
going
in front of an American flag, but he vetoed it. Not a chance in hell.
Yeah, Martin Luther King Day is
It's a sensitive time for
a
America.
sensitive topic. Put me in front of the Patriots. Put me in front of Boston, one of the most racist towns.
Like the racist town in America.
Mac Miller, we couldn't get you a black rapper.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Sorry, bro. Anything else, guys, from the Divisional round? Greatest weekend of football.
Great week of football.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Awesome. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
We got the national championship. Also, college
your pick?
football.
yawn. I don't care.
Thanks, Sage.
Who
You
cares?
know,
You need to look up what breaking the segment
Who
means.
cares?
As a SC fan, you always root against Notre Dame, but it'd be nice to see them win.
I want to see Notre Dame win.
I think Notre Dame.
Just for the history.
Just give them one, another SEC championship game this year. So, but get rid of Ohio State. Get them out of here.
Yeah.
Also, it's also fun to watch.
Ohio State fans are the worst.
Because what they do usually is they point out the NFL prospects in those games. So if you watch the game, just kind of, that's how I learned about the
A lot of movement in the draft already. A lot of people declaring. We got to talk about Deion at some point.
Carson Beck, he went to Miami right now. Yeah. So like guys think Quinn Ewers isn't in the NFL draft when he should have stayed in college one more year, but whatever.
It's Arch Manning time.
Yeah, it's Arch Manning time.
Yes, sir.
Next year, Arch Manning tank watch will be crazy.
Oh, for sure.
This might be one of the weakest drafts, though.
The quarterbacks just seem
for
like,
quarterbacks, right? Yeah.
like
yeah.
Shadur Sanders is the creme de la crib, and it feels like,
Cam Ward too. People like him. Some people
Yes,
don't like him at
the
all.
Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis draft.
Or they're like the who was the one with like the Blaine Gabbert draft? That was a bad one too.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Oh,
like
yeah.
Christian
Ponder.
Ponder. Yeah, that was a bad one too. Damn.
yeah,
Get fooled
we'll
a
see.
lot.
Do you think Deion's going to just gut feeling? We'll go around the room, gut feeling. Don't wax eloquent, yes or no. Is Deion going to the Cowboys?
No, he's staying in Colorado. It's
You're waxing.
what's his name?
Charles like, no, let me tell you why.
I've got 3 reasons. Let me start with number 1.
My pick is Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore goes to Dallas.
Oh God.
Kellen Moore goes there. It's not
Deion's-
Deion. He's staying.
Deion's next
He's
head
staying.
coach.
I
for
think
the
he's
Cowboys.
going. I think Jerry is going to move heaven and earth because there's nothing Jerry wants more than everyone talking about the Cowboys,
Headlines.
and it will happen. Like we'll talk about it nonstop if Deion goes to the Cowboys.
AJ, what do you think?
He's going to the Cowboys.
Gabe, what do you think?
Absolutely.
From the attic. From the basement.
Gut feeling is Deion going to the Cowboys?
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna happen.
We called this a couple months ago. I feel like
Yes,
we were
we did.
really ahead of the
Yes,
curve.
we did.
Well,
Did touch on this.
yeah, you guys. I thought he was gonna go to Vegas, but now Vegas is the front runner for Ben Johnson.
I don't know why that landed so weird on me.
You sound like a gay.
All right. Show's off the rails. Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it. That's it. We're
Thanks for joining us for episode 206. We'll be back on Wednesday with a brand new episode, talking coaching, talking news, and, of course, talking the championship round of the NFL playoffs. Hope you enjoyed it. Only 2 more weeks of football left, boys, so please enjoy it. Congratulations to the Eagles, Commanders, Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs. See you next week.
peace.